What up guys, and welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is, it's Ron from Wrench-a-holics, and today we're back in the lab, but we're not going to be working on a 240 today. We're actually going to be working on my BMW 428i. We've been having this issue with my rear brake light. I've changed the bulb twice, didn't work, and those are bulbs, so I looked at it. But it's a more common issue than I thought. It's not just the bulb, it actually goes further, deeper into the issue of the car itself. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you how to fix that issue if you do come across that. Primarily the BMWs with the LCI lights is where this issue is a common problem. So I'm gonna show you how to fix that. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so there it is. This is my 428i. That right there is the brake turn signal combination light. The issue that I had was the actual connector from the body harness that connects to the bulb socket holder shorted out on itself. So it's a very common issue with the BMWs with the LCIs. So with that being said, I did some research on the forums, found out that it is a common issue, took it apart. Based off the pictures they posted, I had the same exact thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and show you what you're looking for so that you can see the telltale signs of this issue. So if you guys know of anybody who has a BMW equipped with the LCIs, that could be the issue. More than likely, if they've already swapped bulbs and nothing happens and they're still getting that dreaded rear tail light, brake and turn signal malfunction light within the car. So taking that apart right now. Alright, so here is the tail light itself. So what you're going to do is, in order for you to get access to it, you got to pop the trunk open, because you need to get to a panel that's within the trunk seal. So first thing you got to do is take off a plastic flathead screw right here, and that screw right there holds the rain spill panel right here. So you're going to take that flathead screw out and then push the panel up, and then you'll get access to the two nuts that hold the light down. Okay, once you take that little plastic screw out right here, it's a flathead, just go ahead and push up on this plastic panel right here. Do not push up and then pull out until you fully disengage the clip. You do that, you're going to break the panel. So once it's there, there's a little plastic piece right here that needs to be out. So once you get it to this point, pretty much just wiggle it out. Do not pull it out until you see this clip right here disengage from the actual back piece of the car, because you will break the clip, and then once that's broken, you gotta go buy a new one. Now you can see the two nuts, I should say, holding down the light itself. Here's one, there's two. Those are 10mm nuts. Just go ahead and take those off. And then in order to take the light out, what you're going to do is you're going to see this little gap right here. Pulling this part, as well as holding and securing a piece of the rear tail light right here. So you're going to be holding here and holding here in order to pull this light out. So tripod's sort of in the way, so I might be covering you while I do this, just because it's in an awkward position. First one, you want to wiggle that out, hold it right here, press it right here as well. Okay, once that light comes out, there you have it. Here is the clip for the light. So what you're going to do is just push down the clip and then take the harness out. There you go. Now, before we start any electrical work, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery just so we don't mess up anything else, and then we will get down to it. So for my car specifically, the 428i, the battery is in this compartment right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off and just disconnect the battery so that we're a-okay to start working on the electrical stuff. You don't have to take the battery off when you take, or when you're changing a light bulb or anything like that, or you don't really have to do any of that beforehand. But since we're going to actually be messing with the wires and we're going to go more in depth than just changing a light bulb, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery for safety and making sure everything in here stays legit, since we don't want to damage anything else on the car. So battery disconnected. Alright, so in order to gain access to the battery, we're going to have to remove the panel, and in order to do so, what you're going to do is this tab right here, it's in the vertical orientation. You're basically going to turn it counterclockwise until it is horizontal, and then this whole plastic piece can come off. Once that plastic piece comes off, you're going to see your battery. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery from the ground side and just let that connector hang away from the battery so it doesn't touch itself again, or reconnect, or basically touch the ground post. So we're going to disconnect that and just tuck it away so that it does not touch the battery. Once that is removed, then we can start working on the electrical. Alright, if you are using OEM hardware, it's a 10 millimeter nut that's holding down that once you take it away and off the battery, just tuck it away from the post so that it does not reconnect or touch the battery post itself. And then once that's done, you can get to the wires. So now we're going to be messing with the body harness that connects to the rear tail light. This is the harness connector itself, and I'm going to try to angle it so I can show you what a telltale sign is to look for if you have this issue. So this is the harness itself. I'm trying to do my best to angle it so we get some sunlight in there. There you go. Now, if you see this little raised hard edge right here within the connector, that right there is actually burnt plastic. So from within the harness itself, it shorted out and burned the actual plastic. So that right there is a telltale sign that you've had this issue with the connector. And also, if you flip to this view, you probably won't be able to see it, but I'll go ahead and take it out. Just know that from this view or this orientation, the third pin out from the right, so 1, 2, 3, that third pin out, you'll see that it's burnt out. I'm gonna go ahead and do like a close-up to show you what that looks like. Alright, so here's a better view of that shorting out on the actual harness itself. You can see it's a raised edge, burnt plastic. Basically, is the actual housing itself. And then if you turn it over to look at the pin out, you can see third from the right, so 1, 2, 3 from the right, or the fourth one from the left. You can see that it's burnt out. So that right there is a telltale sign that you have the infamous LCI rear BMW tail light harness problem, which I don't know if they've even fixed it. When I bought the parts, I asked the parts guy, and he said that they stock these parts regularly because this is a very common issue. So I do have a 2014 428i, so if you have that and you have this issue, this most likely is the issue and it's not the bulb. So, and to further go into depth, you can also look at the pinout from the tail light itself. So let me go get the tail light. Alright, so here is the tail light connector, and you can see the third pin from the right, 1, 2, 3. That pin is not there. It's actually burnt out, and it's also burnt out on the plastic on the bottom. So that right there is another sign that you have had this infamous issue. So one and one together, there you got to fix both. It kind of sucks. It's like two birds with one stone. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that guy and replace the bulb socket holder to a brand new one, and then hopefully fix this issue. I'm hoping that nothing else got damaged when this happened, because I don't know what else could have happened. So we're gonna go ahead and fix this guy right here. We're gonna depin it. I got a brand new connector, and then also just swap out the bulb holder for the light. So let's get to it. Alright, so here it is. This is the brand new bulb socket holder for the right side specifically. So they do have right and left. So there it is. If you can try to angle it, so you can see the 3 pins shining, 1, 2, 3, third from the right. So there it is, all complete. The only thing that we have to do is grab that white cover from the OEM or the other light and then stick it onto here. I don't know what it is, but it's supposed to go on there. So we're gonna go ahead and stick that on there when we swap it out. And this right here is the pin connector. So with that being said, we're gonna actually depin the harness and repin it to this right here and reinstall as we go. So this is actually my first time repinning and depinning on the BMW, so I'm gonna go ahead off camera and figure out how to take off the pins first. I believe the purple here is a slide lock, so the slide lock has to come out and then you pull the harness from the back out. So if that's the case, I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture, make sure I put everything back where they're supposed to go as far as the orientation of the wires go, and then once I get that done, we're gonna go ahead and repin it for the new pin. So let's get to it. Alright, so with a little bit of effort, I was able to get the slide lock out. My assumption is that when this pinout right here, or also known as the ground pinout, when that ground shorted out on itself, part of the plastic might have melted onto the slide lock. So it took a little bit of effort. The best thing to do is kind of counterintuitive to mess with this. So there's two little like divots right here on the harness itself. Those are the locks for the slide lock. So what you're gonna do is, I went from here and with a flathead screwdriver push on the actual connector until it slides. So that's all I did. See that? So when it slides out like that, the slide lock is disengaged, and you can practically just slide the entire lock out to gain access to the wire. So what I did was I went ahead and took a picture of the harness itself in orientation, and then basically from there I'm just going to repin and insert the pins in the proper location, basically plug and play. And then when everything is done, don't forget to put the slide lock on the new one, lock it in place. Obviously you won't be able to insert the light without locking it, so lock it in place and then insert into the new bulb socket holder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and depin the harness connector from the connector itself, depin it, and then we're going to go ahead and use the new pin connectors, which I got to figure out how these work, and then hopefully put everything back together. So one step closer, guys, let's get to it. Alright, so slide lock comes out, and as you can see, it did burn the slide lock, so that's why I was having some trouble. This is the burn mark right there, so that's an issue you guys are going to run into. Now in order to depin the actual wires from the connector, based on looking at the new harness, what it is, there's a little clip right here that's raised. So this locking clip right here, you have to press down on the clip and then pull the wire out at the same time. So might be hard since I don't have any help here, so I'm going to try to do it without scratching my car. So press right here and pull the harness. There it is. So I just felt it. So as you can see, once you press and pull, there you go. So this is how you depin the BMW harness. So we're going to go ahead and do that throughout the harness. I might have some issues with this middle one, since it is, or not the middle one, but the one that got burnt out. I might have some issues with that because now there's plastic, and it probably fused the actual connector within the plastic body itself. So I'm going to try my best to take it out off camera, and then once we go ahead and do that, we can repin the new connector. So again, I'll show you just for video sake. So press down within the holder. Once you press, you push, or I mean you pull up. So press and pull at the same time, and there you go, pin out. Alright, so I've been trying at it for a while. I feel like I'm just about to just damage, even though it's already damaged. We're gonna replace it, but I feel like it's going to be just easier to flush cut the wire from the actual harness itself, because it looked like it did completely melt through, and now I'm having obstruction. As well as, remember that missing pin that was on the bulb socket holder? That missing pin is broken within the actual pin connector, so the receiving end should be hollow, as you can see right there. But it's not on this one because the actual pin is now stuck in there. So now with that pin stuck in there, I cannot disengage the lock, because the lock has no space to go down. So with that being said, it looks like my only option is to cut it. If you guys are watching my channel and you guys do know of someone who has a BMW with the LCIs that has this issue, if there is any other way to take it out without cutting it, let me know. Leave it in the comments so we can put that as a future reference, and I'll put that in the descriptions if anybody has any recommendations. But it looks like the best thing for me to do is just cut the wire from here and repin accordingly. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and flush cut it to the connector, and there you go. So as you can see, why you want to take out the battery is because these are live ends if the battery is connected, and if they do touch, you can have that issue of arcing or basically shorting out something. So with that being said, I'm gonna visually inspect all the other connectors. Of course I'm gonna have to replace this one for sure. But if the other connectors are good, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave them because it doesn't look like any of them got burned from when this happened, because you would have already see a sign, right? That black char mark of it being burned. So we're gonna go ahead and peel back the harness to expose a little bit more wire for myself. Repin the new harness connector, and then swap out that bulb holder, and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and just strip back the wire here and continue on. Alright, so now that we got the brown wire right here exposed, we're gonna go ahead and strip it, give us enough wire to go into the new pin and work from there. So also the reason why me having to strip down the wire as far back or further than most is because since we now cut the harness, it's a little bit shorter now, so this is going to allow me to repin the harness without having any type of issues here with this wire being shorter. And then once I repin it, everything's good to go, then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it when everything is pinned already. So that's another reason why I did that. So with the wire now partially stripped, we're going to go ahead and I just like to twist the wires to get a tighter wire so that when I feed it into its new pin, it's not gonna fray. So twist at your leisure, and then here we go. So based on the previous wires here, this is the pin, this is the weather protector. So it looks like the pin needs to go last, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to put the green insulator on first, because the pin hugs the insulator. As you can see right here, it sort of like wraps around the insulator, so that's what's gonna hold the insulator in place. So first we're gonna have to slide the new green insulator. So from the kit that they give you when you buy it, grab a green insulator from the bag, and then with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and orient ourselves to how it was before. So first the green, boom. This might be the hard part because you got to go over the wire, and the wire is a little bit big. So alright, cool. So I just did it as far as up as I can, because now the next thing we're gonna do is have to get the new pin from the kit. So let me go get that. Alright, here's the pin from the kit. It comes in a whole strip here, so you're basically just gonna have to cut it from where it connects to the strip. Since I'm not changing these other pins here, I sort of have a lot of tries, I guess you could say. But we're gonna try to do this in one shot. So with some wire cutters or whatever you guys have, I'm gonna try to flush cut it as close as I can to the pin itself. So I'm gonna flush cut it right here. Hopefully I got strong enough cutters. Cool. Insert the wires. Make sure we have good enough wires right here. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna do this off camera, but I'm basically gonna walk you through it. So we're gonna insert the wire from here, and it looks like the wires stop right at the crimp point. So we're gonna go and try to imitate that, because I don't want to go too far, because I don't know if that's gonna cause another issue. So we're gonna just try to follow what BMW did already. So it's gonna go right there, and then from there you're gonna crimp down the first crimp. Do not crimp down the second one, because the second one is supposed to hold the weather insulator. So second one goes last. So first you're gonna install the new wire into the new pin, crimp the first crimp, slide down the weather insulator, crimp the second one down to hold down the insulator, and then reinsert into the new pin. Alright, so we went ahead and crimped down the first crimp. Again, you're not going to do the second one until you slide down the insulator, and then you're going to use the second set of crimps to crimp down on the insulator. So I'm going to go ahead and slide down the insulator. Maybe kind of hard, but you can do it. So once the insulator is down to about right there, based on the other ones, you go ahead and just crimp down on the second set of crimps. I'm I'm gonna redo that one too to make sure we're fully seated and make sure everything's okay. So first one right here, second one right here. Cool. Just want to make sure this one is legit. And basically, you just want to make sure that the wire is secured within the pin so it doesn't come out. Alright, that looks pretty good. Double check the wire. We're good. Alright, so now you're going to repin the new connector, which is right here. This is the new connector. As you can see, there is no bubbling. But there is a slight difference. 1214397-1. Okay, so I do see a slight difference here. So based on the new connector versus the old, so old connector is on the left of the screen. As you can see, that has that bubbling, but on the new one it has this little brace right here of plastic. So I don't know whether or not that was the fix to this issue, but we shall see. So we're gonna go ahead and repin the new one, and hopefully everything is okay. So let's get to it. The harness is like this. The blue black wire goes to the furthest away. So, oh, hold on, there's also two blue caps that gotta go. So these little dust caps right here, so you see the two blue ones, that's the cut brown wire. So we're gonna put two blue caps onto the same provisions on the clip and go from there. That's before we repin it, so we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Press it down. Alright, so there you go. So those are good. Bam bam, and then we go ahead and proceed to repin the harness. So let's do that. So again, blue black goes furthest away. Remember, when you insert it as well, you have to make sure that the lock pin is actually in the little squares here, else you won't be able to depin it correctly. So make sure you put it in the right spot. Okay. And push it in until it clicks in or locks in place. Okay. Then the brown one is going to be right next to the blue caps, and then the black and gray are second. So based on that, the brown wire is next, right here. Again, make sure it's in the right orientation. Push down, click. Okay, now next to the brown is a black and gray that goes to the furthest, or the middle I should say. So it goes right here. And you want to make sure you hear it click. There you go. And then the last one is going to be the gray and yellow at the end. Okay, and again, that matches the picture that I just took. Can never be too lax when it comes to wiring, because you can potentially do something wrong, so always double check your work. Alright, now don't forget to slide the lock clip, which is here, to lock it all in place. So it's as simple as that, and all the wires are locked in. So now what we're going to do is see what I said when you want to strip down the wire as far back as you can, because now you have extra. So now what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and tape it securely with some Tessa tape. The brown wire obviously is going to be short only because we had to cut it, so I'm going to have some little bit of extra. That's fine, I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to go like this, wrap it once, and then Tessa tape this thing shut, and we should be good to go. Alright, so I already began to tape up the harness. We're just going to make sure we're good to go. Make sure everything is protected. Alright, so here's the tail light. Socket is the bulb holder I should say is very easy to take out. All you gotta do is just unlatch the 3 clips right here. So pretty much all you gotta do is lift up and it gets off the lock, and then without dropping the light, slowly pull up I should say. And there you guys have it. We're gonna take and keep that white piece and put it onto the new holder. Alright, so I went ahead and transferred the bulbs to the new bulb socket holder. The tail light, or the turn signal I say, doesn't look like it got burnt out. The filament is still connected from post to post, so it seems to be okay, but we shall see. I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect it and then put everything back together and test it out. Again, you don't gotta go hard on this, okay? It's a tail light, guys. And tight is sufficient. Okay, put the trim back on. Remember guys, be gentle with that trim. You don't want to break that piece. Go out and get another one. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the battery and wish for the best. We're simply going to lock the car because when I locked the car before, this light didn't turn on, so see what's up. Okay, that's unlocked, so it already lights up, so that's a good sign. And unlock. So we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and check the function of the turn signal. Basically, I'm gonna put the hazard on and see if it blinks. Alright, so brakes working and the blinker is working, so pretty good guys. There you guys have it. Alright, let's see if this malfunction light goes away. There you guys have it. I think it's gone. I think the other one is my oil change, but I haven't reset that one yet since I did the oil change. So let's see what's up. It would have already came up by now. Let's go to the menu screen and see what's up. Alright. Yeah, this is date and time, I think. I think that was from my oil change, so yeah, we were good. Let's see if blinker works. No fast blinker. Oh, we did it, guys. There you guys have it. Not blinking fast, so that's a good thing. Whew, another hot day. But anyways, that is the how to fix your F30, F32 brake turn signal combination harness, which ends up shorting itself out 9 out of 10 times. That's going to be your problem, and not just simply changing the bulb. But hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys aren't mechanically inclined or wire savvy, I'm hoping that this video shows you the way so that you can fix it on your own. I just want to give a big shout out to my day ones out there. Thank you for sticking with me since day one, since I started this channel. But I also want to give a warm welcome and a thank you to my new subscribers out there. I've been looking at my monthly analytics for the past couple of months. I've been getting a good increase in subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I don't normally work on the BMW because it's a brand new car as compared to my 240, but hey, if things break, we gotta fix it. And for the loyal ones out there, you already know what time it is. Hype is for the moment and style is forever. Deuces. I'll catch you in the next one.